Hello and welcome to Medical Dialogues Journal Club. I am Dr. Nandita Mohan, and today I am going to discuss an engaging review that reveals that D-dimer, which is a simple and a relatively non-expensive biomarker, is increased to significant levels, especially in stroke patients. Now, stroke patients, are those who have cancer, and even therefore may be a tool to predict thorough screening for active or even occult cancer in stroke patients. Now, the study that I'm talking about today is published in the Journal of Neurosciences in Rural Practice, which is published by Scientific Scholar. So, to talk to us in detail about this, we have one of the lead authors, that is Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mishra from the Department of Neurosurgery, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, India. So, welcome to Medical Dialogue, sir. It's really a pleasure to have you on board here with us today.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be available here today to discuss on the topic.
Great. So now, sir, as we're discussing your recent research article, if you could just let our audience know about the biological significance of D-dimer, if you can just highlight on that.
Okay, yeah. So D-dimer, it is an indirect marker of fibrinolysis and intrinsic homeostatic mechanism reflecting the fibrin turnover. This has got a unique properties where it can be used as a biological marker for hemostatic abnormalities. It is often seen that patients who have got a thrombotic disorder, who are critically sick, and even in stroke patients and cardiovascular disease patients with malignancies, these D-dimer values increased. So in many of these studies, they have found that patients who have got cancers, they have inherent increase in the D-dimer levels, and D-dimer levels were also found to be increased in patients who have undergone any form of ischemic stroke. It suggests some form of underlying hypercoagulability, which is increased in patients who have cancer.
That's actually well explained, sir. We definitely should know the significance of D-dimer. Now, if we talk about the normal levels, so do the normal levels of D-dimer fluctuate among cardiac or even onco patients?
Yeah, normally D-dimer levels are detected at a very minimal levels in normal individuals, roughly around 0 to 0.5 milligram per deciliter. Many times either they will be detected at very low level, but in patients who suffer from cardiovascular diseases and especially the patients with cancer, these D-dimer levels increase to many-fold, and it has been found that increased D-dimer suggests poor prognosis in these patients. In addition, it adds on to the cardiovascular morbidity and mortality, including heart failure. And this, in addition, can also be because of the therapeutics which is often given to these cancer patients. So there is fluctuation in D-dimer levels in both cancer and oncological patients, as well as in patients who are suffering from cardiovascular diseases.
Okay, that is noted. So we can look at fluctuations among the normal levels. So what led to this multi-institutional and cross-country authorized meta-analysis that you just carried out, and what is the therapeutic significance of this study?
Yeah, we were discussing in various meetings regarding, is there an inexpensive and easy to identify biomarker which can tell us, because many patients come with stroke and later they have been found to have an underlying cancer, and many patients with cancer, they develop stroke and they were found to have very poor outcomes. So this discussion has been going on in neurosciences community as to if we can identify which are those cancer patients who can develop stroke, or if there are patients who has got a stroke, which patient should be screened. So a group of our team of authors, we came up with this idea that we should search the literature available on this topic, and we found very conflicting results. Some of these studies, they suggested that it can be used as an inexpensive biomarker, while some studies said that it is not specific and neither it is sensitive for the type of the strokes. Therefore, we decided to go ahead with this meta-analysis with the single objective to identify if the D-dimer levels can help us in predicting the cancer patients are going to develop stroke, or if the stroke patients will have an underlying cancer. So it will serve two purposes. If we can find the evidence, we can identify which stroke patients are likely to have an underlying cancer, and which cancer patients are likely to develop stroke in future. So that will have both diagnostic and therapeutic implications.
Okay. That's good. So now, developing on the current analysis, are there any future studies which have been planned? You just mentioned that you had gone through literature, or you had reviewed a lot of articles on research before coming to carrying out this meta-analysis. So, are there any future studies planned in similar lines?
Yes, so in this meta-analysis, there were 8 studies which were included, and that included around 380 patients. And we found that D-dimer levels were significantly raised in stroke patients who have an underlying cancer. However, when we applied the whole statistical and scientific way to rate the quality of evidence, we found that it is not of a very high quality of evidence. There were certain limitations in all of those studies. So definitely, using those limitations, some future prospective studies can be planned to tell us exactly how these D-dimer levels are varying in these cancer patients as well as in the stroke patients. So this will pave a future pathway for future research to have better evidence in this, because it's a very inexpensive biomarker which is routinely done in critically sick patients.
That's good to know, definitely, sir. So now, lastly, if you could just highlight on 2 words for the Journal of Neuroscience in Rural Practice, and how has your experience been publishing with this journal? If you could just share your experience.
Journal of Neurosciences in Rural Practice is a very reputable journal in our neurosciences community, and publishing with JNRP was a very pleasant experience. I would specifically point out on the guidelines to the authors, which has streamlined how the article should be processed, how should be there we should be the formatting of tables, images, as well as citations. The whole workflow as well as the user interface of the online links of JNRP are very user friendly, and that adds to the confidence while doing the submission. A very specific part was a smooth review process, and the comments which we received from the reviewers, which have made the article look very good as compared to the original article which we submitted in the first place. So definitely it was a great experience submitting the article to JNRP, and we are glad that it has been accepted for public.
Great, that's good to know, sir. So, thank you so much, Dr. Rakesh, for joining us today at Medical Dialogues. It was lovely to be interacting with you and gaining all your insights that you've done on your recent meta-analysis. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.